Okay, so first one, state your name, title, and organization, please.
Okay, so my name, like she said, is Bailey Hall. I'm a speech-language pathologist and I work in the public schools. I'm actually a contract speech-language pathologist. So that means that I work for a company that serves a public school. So I get paid hourly. I don't have any benefits at all. So I just go in and I treat kids with language disorders, and then that's just that's what I do. So
Interesting. Okay. So briefly describe what led to your current job, including details such as whether you always knew you'd do this, any unsuccessful work experiences, or promotions that led to your current job.
okay, this is probably my favorite question because whenever I left Marshall High School, I had no idea what I was going to do. I actually moved colleges 4 times. So initially, I was going to go to North Ark. I had a wonderful coach that told me to get out and experience college and, just move away, just see what happens. So I took his advice. I went to Arkansas Tech, stayed there for a year. I thought I wanted to be a nurse. I thought I wanted to be a teacher. And figured out I didn't really like either one of those. I loved working with kids, but I didn't want to be in the classroom. I wanted to be a nurse, but I'm really, really, really bad at math. And so you have to be good at math to be a nurse. And so I actually ended up looking on a course catalog when I was at Arkansas Tech, and I read through all the job descriptions, what it looked like. And I came across speech language pathology, and I'll describe more what that is and what we do later. But I ended up moving to Fayetteville, and I started pursuing speech language pathology. Figured out that setting actually didn't work for me. It was too big. I didn't fit in. I I just didn't feel like it was good for me, even spiritually. Like I wanted to be a Christian, and the people around me were just, they didn't have that same mindset. And maybe I just didn't find the right people. I don't know. But I needed to be around people who were strong in their faith. So I decided to move back home. I went to UCA, continued my career in speech pathology, and ended up getting into the master's program there, and graduated from UCA in 2020 with my master's degree. So all of that to say, I was very unsuccessful in my just trying to figure out what I wanted to do with life. It took a lot of trial and error. And if I were to say one thing about choosing your career or just trying to get started, like you're going to have to change. You're going to have to be flexible. Like there's not a roadmap. It's just a trial and error, pray and try to figure out where you're going to go. So all that to say, it was a bumpy ride. I'm so glad I ended up here, but it did take a lot of changes.
I can definitely echo trial and error and just being okay with the journey and,
Yes.
just trying new things. So that's awesome.
Yes.
So you touched on it a little bit, but my next question would be, what education, training, and or experience did you have to attain the current job that you're in?
So you have to have an undergraduate degree in, it's called Communication Sciences and Disorders. So if you are looking at that course catalog, that's what you're going to want to enroll in. Or you could get an undergraduate degree in rehabilitation science. And sometimes they do take other undergraduate degrees. You would just have to take additional classes to get into the master's program. So I did a 4-year bachelor's degree, and then a 2-year master's degree in speech pathology. So you have to do, like, you have clinicals. Of course, you have a lot of classes you have to go to. But other than that, that's what it looks like.
Okay, perfect. Can you get into a little bit more detail about like your role and the skills that are required for your position? Maybe, obvious skills, and then maybe some things that you've learned that are important to have that maybe you weren't taught in college.
Yeah. So just as far as speech pathology goes, we serve 9 different areas. So basically, we serve from the top of your head to your waist, pretty much. So we are professionals in articulation. So we teach kids how to say sounds. Children that stutter, we help them to be more fluent speakers. Voice disorders, we treat expressive and receptive language, like the ability to understand language and follow directions and multiple direction steps. We do that, and how to effectively express yourself. We target swallowing, and we work with like cognitive aspects, let's say like TBIs or stroke patients. We work with that. Um, we also do like social language, like kids who don't understand what it means if I were to say, oh, it's raining cats and dogs. They're like, what? Cats and dogs aren't coming down from the sky. What do you mean? And so, or even just how to communicate with adults. If you're talking to an adult, you would be more professional. Or maybe if you're talking to your friend, you can use slang terms. Like some kids just don't understand that. So we work with that. We work with what's called an AAC. So we use like little computers to communicate. If kids are just not able to talk, they can use a communication device. We teach them how to do that and do that effectively. So those are the kind of like the 9 areas that we look at. It's also very important, if you do want to be a speech pathologist, you have to be able to communicate. I am talking to parents constantly, or teachers. I'm going over reports and evaluations and things like that. So it's very important to have people skills and to like to help people. I know that if you're familiar with the Enneagram, if you know what your personality type is, mine is the helper. So I feel most fulfilled when I help people. So that is why I chose this job, because I love to help. And that's why I chose to do this too, because I want to help other people find a great career like I did.
I love that, Bailey. Thank
Mm-hmm.
you.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's really helpful. That is really broad. Can you help us see what an average day would look like for you?
Yeah. So, like I said, we do those 9 areas, but obviously I don't do those 9 areas within the school. So technically, I mostly do articulation. Most people think that I just help people say R's, but there's a lot more to that. So a typical day for me, I work from 8 to 3. At the school, I see kids with it like 30-minute sessions. So I pull them out of class, they come to me in a separate room, and we work on whether it's articulation, helping them say their R's or L's or TH's or whatever it may be. If they have fluency disorders or stuttering, I help them with that. The expressive and receptive language, we target that too as well. So I do treatment. I have to do meetings with teachers and parents. I do evaluations. So I have to evaluate how well they say their sounds, or how well they can speak or understand language. Another wonderful part of being at this school and being a contract therapist is that I make my own schedule, which I may be getting ahead of myself on the next question, but I love that. I have a 1-year-old, and so I just work 3 days and I spend the rest of my time with her. And so it's wonderful.
That is a big perk of the job, and I think that's important that you shared that for sure. That flexibility is something I think that is becoming more and more valuable to people as they're looking for careers, or even changing careers. And so, yeah, that's great, Bailey. So what's the best part of your job for you?
I would say, again, it would be flexibility. I was actually talking to my mom the other day, and we were just talking about the importance of going to college, and she wished that she would have taken college more seriously. And she said, you get to do basically whatever you want. I only work 3 days a week, and she's has to be at her job 5 days a week. And she was like, I wish I could go back and choose something where I could be more flexible and have more time with family and that sort of thing. So I would say the flexibility aspect of it, 1,000%. So
Perfect. Okay. What's the most challenging part of your job?
Um, the most challenging would probably be the paperwork. So if
Mm,
you're familiar with being in the schools and having an IEP, that entails a lot of paperwork. So after each session, I see a kid for 30 minutes. I have to document everything that we did, what the progress was on the goals, and just it's a lot of paperwork. If I could take one thing away, it would be the paperwork, and the job would be perfect. I would do it maybe for free. so so yeah.
Um, what would you say the percentage of your day is spent in paperwork, or week maybe is better?
Hmm. So I allow myself about 5 minutes at the end of the session. So I have 30-minute sessions. I allow 5 minutes to do a daily note. But I would say probably an hour to an hour and a half of paperwork I have to do aside from treatment. And
Is that daily or weekly?
probably daily.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's significant. Okay.
it is.
All right. My next question would be, what are your long-term career goals? Is this where you want to be, or is there something further that you're looking to accomplish?
Yeah. So I really enjoy where I'm at right now. I don't see myself trying to move up or do anything else for a while until maybe, my my kids older or kids, whatever may happen. But I think maybe long term, I would enjoy being a contract therapy company. So having
Mm,
therapists work for me and then I contract them to the school. So where I'm not technically treating kids, but I'm the one sending the therapist out to schools to do the treatment. So that's kind of a long term goal. That's not you're not doing treatment, so I'm afraid I might miss the one on one interaction. But if I ever do just kind of get tired of it, I guess I have that option to move up.
that's great. Yeah. My next question would be, what advice would you give students? You've shared lots of advice, but what advice would you give students for seeking out a fulfilling career?
I would say know your strengths and be honest with yourself. I told you that I am not the greatest at math. I did struggle in college a little bit, and I found out my strengths and weaknesses in college too. So I think know your strengths and get out there and shadow and just get
Mm.
involved and try to figure out. Um, could I see myself doing this every day? Um, so yeah, that would probably be my advice.
When you say shadow, I think that's maybe something that I would definitely encourage students to do as well, or anyone looking to even change careers. But that seems kind of daunting. Do you
Mhm.
have any advice on how to approach that if someone watches this video and says, "I would really love to get into that or see what more about that"? Is there an opportunity for someone to shadow, or how would they approach that?
I think just want to say you're doing such a wonderful job putting all of this together and trying to help kids, find their career path. Even using these videos, and I think you should personally be able to reach out to me, or if you find something you're like, I heard that and it sounds really interesting. I would say just reach out to that person and see, like, hey, is there any opportunities? The only thing they can say is no. And if you were ever wondering if there's an opportunity to shadow for me or something, or someone in my field who works in a different position, that's almost always yes. We take people who shadow all the time, and we have fieldwork students and things like that. So I would say if you find something that you like, just ask that person. I realize that is kind of daunting, like you said, but I would say just ask.
Perfect. Okay. Um, what is the job outlook for your occupation, or is this field continuing to grow, or yeah, anything details you can share about that?
Yes, this field is always growing. I actually have so many children in the school that are on my caseload that just have needs for better articulation or language skills. And like I said, those social skills, we have a rise in autism. So the kids with autism tend to have difficulties with their social skills. They don't know how to make friends. They have a hard time talking to adults, or just communicating in general. And so I know a lot of kids are spending more times on their phone, less time communicating. We're seeing a lot of kids that need early intervention because they're not getting that parent-child interaction. That's really sad, but that's also it just contributes to how many kids I have on my caseload, which means I have a lot of work. I don't see this job ever going away. There are similar jobs that help kids too, like physical therapist or occupational therapist. We all three of those, speech, occupational, and physical therapy, all work together. I just don't see there ever not being a need for speech therapy.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's bad and it's good, but I get it.
Right. Yes.
It's important work that you do. So, I guess last question, because I think we touched on a few of these already, but any additional advice or anything else that you'd like to share with students or anyone else that's watching?
I don't know. I think I said it all. I think just be willing to change, be willing to get outside of Searcy County. Just, I would say in college, get involved as much as you can, build relationships. I worked at some summer camps every summer that I was in college, and it required me to get out of my comfort zone. I like my comfort zone and I like to be around people that I know. But going off and going to college, it made me a better person. I initiated more conversations with people. I built more relationships. If I would have stayed in Marshall, I don't think I would have the career that I have today. Because it pushed me to be a better person. So I would say just get involved, get out there. Everyone's nervous, everyone's scared to do new things, but the sky's the limit. This is the best part, one of the best parts of your life. You have freedom and you're able to just do whatever you want to do. So set the bar high. That's what I would say.
Thank you, Bailey. I really appreciate your time. And I'm sure we'll be talking to you again soon.
Thank you so much. Thank you for doing this. This is awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.